Lil Wayne, Nicki Minaj, banned from no remix. Let's talk about it. Guys, how y'all doing? Welcome to Let's Talk About It. Music Reviews Season 11. How y'all doing and welcome to the show. Guys, my voice might be slightly messed up. My allergy season is kicking in for me right now. My voice might be a little fucked up, but that's not going to stop me from talking about tonight's music drop. Because, guys, we do got some new music Friday, and this is one of the ones that came out a little bit earlier, but I was just going to wait until tonight to talk about it, guys. We're going to get this out right now. We got Lil Wayne, Nicki Minaj, banned from no. Let's talk about it. Let's just get into it. Starting off with the beat. I had a lot to say about this. Guys, to be real with you, this beat is pretty basic. It's just kind of your basic trap beat. It's got that snare, switch up. But other than that, it's kind of just your basic trap beat. There's just kind of nothing else to it. It's one of those things where I kind of look at this beat and I just kind of go, it's alright, it hits, it's got some nice horns to it. That sample is nice. The bass is going absolutely insane. That's pretty cool. That's pretty nice. But guys, I will be real with you. I just wish this beat was a little bit better. Drums feel a little bit too flat. Bass sometimes is cutting in and out. I think some of the production from the beat itself just isn't really hitting, in my opinion. I listen to this and I just kind of go, alright, I see the vision here, I see the trap beat vision, but I think this is underproduced. And it definitely comes off across that because you have, Nicki Minaj really trying on here, trying some different things. And it's really hard when you're switching up your vocals, you're switching up your flows, you're trying to add something new while the production is so basic. There's nothing to the production, so it's just kind of like, what the fuck are we even doing here? Now, I haven't reviewed the original, but guys, the original was banned from the Carter 6. Guys, I am going to talk about this whole album, but let's go over this track starting off with Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne starts off, he's rapping his ass off. I really like what Lil Wayne does on here. I like his flows. I like all the flow switches that Lil Wayne is doing. If you wanted a really decent rap performance, this is one of the better tracks from Lil Wayne from the Carter 6, 100%. There's a lot of tracks on the Carter 6 where Lil Wayne is really struggling to rap on some of these. This is not one of them, though. This definitely does feel like Lil Wayne is definitely in his element here, which is really nice. I like the flows. The flow switches are definitely there. They sound really good. And honestly, overall, I don't really have too many complaints about Lil Wayne. The only thing I will complain about Lil Wayne is the hook. The hook just sounds too similar as the verse. So, when we go from the verse to the hook, it's like, can we get a switch up here? Can we get a flow switch? Something to really show that this is the hook. A lot of rap hooks, they sound like they're they're an extension of the first verse. They don't really sound like it's your own hook. So I really wish, there would have been like a little bit of a flow switch, a vocal switch to really showcase that this part is definitely the hook. But that's my only complaint. Lil Wayne definitely did his thing on here. The flows are pretty nice. But let's get into the main part, because the main part is Nicki Minaj. Because, guys, hey, this whole album, everybody's been saying, Big Sean was on this album. Jelly Roll was on this album. MGK was on this album. Fucking Kodak Black was on this album. And there was no Nicki Minaj, no Drake, and none of that to be seen. And people, were like, where's Nicki Minaj? Where's Drake on the Carter 6? But Nicki Minaj just showed up on a remix. So let's get into it. And starting off, I will say the beginning part of Nicki Minaj's verse. You always have to have a warm-up. You always have to have a little bit of an intro part before Nicki Minaj starts going crazy. It's usually what she does. I just don't like the beginning. I think the vocals in the beginning, in my opinion, just kind of suck. The auto-tune's bad. The auto-tune sounds really bad. There's not really much of a flow. And honestly, guys, I'll just be real. I just don't like it when, we're talking in auto-tune. When you start talking in auto-tune, it just sounds bad. I really don't know why artists try to talk in autotune. It just doesn't sound good. Please take the autotune effects off your voice and you will sound much goddamn better, much more confident, because it sounds like I'm listening to a confident goddamn robot. It's like, holy shit, I'd rather go to Sunday service and fucking fall asleep in the goddamn 10 a.m. in the damn morning because the service was so boring. So I'd rather do that than listen to this, like, talking with autotune. It just doesn't sound good. It's not pleasing to the ears. It's just kind of like, whatever. What am I even listening to? So yeah, I'll just be real. What the fuck am I listening to in the beginning? But it does get better, guys, and that's what I have to tell y'all. You know, Nicki Minaj needs a little bit of a warm-up, but once she starts rapping, she starts rapping. And honestly, I will say, Nicki Minaj's verse is pretty good on here. I like the flows. I like the flow switches. There are some parts where I think, you know, I can't really understand what Nicki Minaj is saying in some parts, but I feel the flow. I feel the passion of the rapping. And honestly, guys, it's just kind of like, hey, good for you. You know, Nicki Minaj had a little bit of a bad start in 2024 with that whole, you know, versus Megan Thee Stallion thing. And honestly, putting out a diss track that just sounded terrible. You know, Megan Thee Stallion was rapping her ass off. Nicki Minaj was fucking venting on her diss track. You know, there's an obvious difference here. So I'm glad that Nicki Minaj comes back and absolutely raps her ass off. Absolutely does her thing on here. That's really fire in my opinion. Honestly, she takes over the whole song, even has her own part of the hook too, which is pretty cool. I like it when remixes really incorporate the other artists, really makes it feel like something a little bit different than the original. It's something that you wouldn't get from the original. That's what remixes are supposed to do, and you definitely get that on this track, guys. So, guys, when we talk about this track, Lil Wayne and Nicki Minaj, Banned From No remix. You know, the beat's kind of just whatever, but Lil Wayne had a pretty good performance. You know, the only thing I would say about that hook, and overall, besides Nicki Minaj in the intro, Nicki Minaj did her thing too. So, guys, when we talk about this song, I think this is one of the better Carter 6 tracks. So, I definitely recommend you check this track out, because Jelly Roll, you don't want to listen to a Jelly Roll feature, alright? Listen to a Nicki Minaj feature instead. It will help you a lot more. So yeah, guys, overall, I'm going to give this track an easy 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10, guys. What y'all think about it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? I don't know. Let me know. Guys, if you're on YouTube, Spotify, Pandora, wherever you get your podcast at, make sure you follow, turn on notifications, guys. We're dropping new content every single day. Hopefully these allergies pass, guys, but there is going to be a few episodes where we're going to be dealing with this. But hey, I'm going to talk my way through this whole thing. So don't worry, guys. I'll see y'all later. You have a good one. Bye.